I never ever envisaged having that at this point of life. In fact, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer or a physicist. You know, when you come from your family, they think that's the heights of achievement. But actually, beauty was a huge passion of mine. You know, I mean, if you cut my veins, I bleed beauty products. And it was from 17 years old that I fell in love with the art of transformation. I love the fact that beauty products make you feel a certain way. Definitely when I was suffering with acne at such an early age in my life, and I saw what Roaccutane did to so many of my friends and people that I knew, I didn't want to go down that route. So I wanted to find kind of natural solutions. And it actually took me to being a Saturday boy in a very conservative shop at 17 years old, selling beauty products. And I was selling a pot of cream, which was, I think at that time, £245, Orchidea Imperial by Guerlain. And I was 17, I remember. And one of the area managers of Guerlain was just doing a spot check visit to this little department store called Brad Beers Perfumery. And they saw me selling this cream with no experience whatsoever. And they invited me to interview for John Lewis Southampton. And then at 18 years old, I worked there in Southampton whilst doing my degree. I built that business. I then was headhunted to Selfridges. I was one of the youngest assistant managers, where I quickly became a trainer, and I was kind of catapulted to working in events as well and education, where I was a skincare specialist and fragrance specialist. And I actually was working in Harrods, Selfridges, all along kind of Oxford Street, and launching exclusive fragrances with the perfumer Thierry Vasseur at the time, which was amazing for me. And then from then on, massive successes with huge launches in Selfridges. And I said, oh my goodness, that this could be like my calling. I could do this as something that I wanted to achieve. And then I climbed the ropes. I went from LVMH to L'Oreal. I was one of the youngest business managers in Selfridges at 23, 24. I had a 2-point-something million pound business, 25 members of staff I was looking after, which was amazing. And then I went to do more education. And for me, I was always educating, and I didn't realize that's what I was doing. So I worked corporate, national sales manager. I don't want to bore everyone, but national sales manager of Hourglass Cosmetics. So I looked after the entirety of the country. I spent some time in Canada, Miami in my mid-20s, and I wrote their training, launched them in Harrods, grew, multi-million pound businesses. And then I wanted to learn how to do it myself. I was sick of corporate life. I wanted to kind of put my mark on the industry and do what I loved, which was my art of storytelling and impassioning and doing retail sales the way that I always wanted to do it. Because I think when people see growth, they just assume something. They assume that you've followed something that's already been done for you. But I was creating all of this for myself. So I took the plunge 5 years ago, and I launched my consultancy.
Wow, yeah, and never looked back. I mean,
never looked back.
The thing is that, when you sort of tell me the places that you've been and what you've done, it's just unreal. And I was just very, very fortunate to meet you. And that was purely by chance, wasn't it? We were both at an event in London. We got introduced. And since then, we've just been practically joined at the hip, because I just thought, right, this is what we need in the beauty industry. Because, retail sales is such a huge integral part of, I always like to think, and I know you always say as well, you can't quite understand how, therapists can sell treatments for hundreds of pounds that last possibly an hour or two, yet they can't sell a cream that's going to last 2-3 months.